relax completely. Stretch the legs out so the front of the hips can open. If you liked making those circles with the feet, you're welcome to, or you can just release completely. And if you're following along with the playlist, hit play on the first track. Make sure it's set to repeat. And then gently snow angel the arms overhead. Let the feet come wider so the body is more shaped like an X. Make sure the shoulders are soft. Sometimes when we reach up and overhead, we take our shoulders up into the ears. Imagine the space coming from below the shoulders, so the length and the lats and the top of the shoulders and neck stay nice and soft. And we're going to be rolling onto the left side. And if you were to roll right now, it would take a lot of work. You can even imagine like trying to roll a little bit. And instead of keeping our arms outstretched, play with starting to bring the elbows and knees towards the center. And notice how easy and effortless it is to roll onto the left side. And then we'll roll back onto our back by lengthening everything out into the shape we just came from. And then bring everything into the center to roll to the other side. And just like we did with our leg lifts, I want to try both breathing patterns here. So we'll start with the natural breathing pattern, which was the inhale to reach out and the exhale to curl up. And play with that on your own. Just observing the sensations. And as we explore here, it's not a right or wrong, or good or bad. Both can teach us something. And so it's useful to explore both patterns. Try moving slower. That's going to wake up more deep core musculature. Imagine the body melting, and the melting is what allows you to change position. So there's no efforting. And the next time you come into your X position, pause there, and we'll reverse the breath. So take one full breath in and out. And then on your next inhale, start to roll over to the side, and notice how the inhale helps you feel expansive even though the front of the body is contracting. As you exhale and stretch everything out, notice how the exhale unites the limbs into the core. And continue on your own, letting this backwards breathing wake up your blind spots. Maybe there's a space in the back body that you don't usually get to feel, but as you inhale here in the curved position, something new opens. Wherever you are, try moving a little slower, a little smoother, and see if that helps you wake up more awareness. You can even close the eyes if you'd like. And imagine this practice helping to dissolve any areas of tension. Last night, we have a meditation program on Monday nights, and I had just a little bit of tightness between my shoulders, and I used this to help me unwind that tension. So I invite you to play with it. See if there's an area that you can free up. The next time you're on your left side, bring your right hand in front of you. Gently press into the right hand, coming into a Bharadvajasana setup. So the hips are over to the left-hand side of the heels. And I want to show you a hand positioning that we're going to be playing with later on today. So let the hands be mirror images, so the pinkies touch, index fingers all the way up to the thumb. And relax the shoulders. Actually, in fact, a precursor to this, sweep the arms back, letting the spine lengthen and feeling the shoulders melt down the back. And then keep that energy of being open and spacious as you bring the fingertips together in front of the navel. Gently press each thumb, or each digit, each thumb, why would I say that? All of your thumbs into one another, and notice if that can help you feel space on the front of the arm up into the pecs, and the back of the arm up into the triceps and the back of the shoulders. Can allow the elbows to float open, helping you feel more of that spaciousness. Observe the next couple of breaths and try to feel that sense of the shoulder girdle just resting atop the rib cage. Take one more breath here. And as long as we're here, let's open up the left side of the body. Try pushing the legs down into your mat, and notice how it allows the whole body to lengthen while keeping the rib cage integrated. Keep the shoulder soft. You can even bend the elbow a couple of times. And then paw the hands down, and just like we did before, go from the side all the way back onto the back, slowly stretching out, and then roll to the other side. Press into the hands, slowly coming up. I know many of you are facing away from me, but we're just going to do the same thing again. So first the arms sweep back, helping you open the chest and relax the shoulders. And then bring the fingertips together in front of the navel, soft elbows. Press each finger into its mirror and see if you can create a little space up through the arms, into the chest, into the back body. Feel the balance of the shoulders sitting atop the rib cage, connected in the front but very supported muscularly in the back. Just take a couple of breaths here, and if you feel like you're building any tension or you're even feeling surface muscles turn on, try to dial it back so that you could stay here for an hour and there wouldn't be any tension, any tightness. And then bring the left hand to the right knee, float the right arm up and push the legs down into the earth to allow the whole right side to lengthen and reach open. Notice the quality of the inhale and exhale, and see if as you inhale, if you can let the body dissolve into those beams of light. And as you exhale, feel the whole body become very spacious, radiating brightly. And then release the hands back down, paw the arms out, and slowly melt back onto the back. We'll do this one more time on each side, and it's up to you if you gently paw up to seated or if you want to roll to the side and use momentum. That's totally fine as long as it feels fine. Going right into the side bend. We don't have to practice the hands anymore. We'll call those our flowing energy hands. And after you side bend on the second side, bring your hands over to the right, push down into the hands so you can draw the knees underneath you into a tabletop position. If you're parallel to me, the right side of the body should be closest to the screen. And Konalani Living Room folks, you're welcome to turn so that your right side is facing me, or if it's easier the way you are, that's great. Blocks may be helpful a little bit later, so if you would like to grab your blocks while you're close to the floor and it's easy, you can place 2 blocks to the short edge of the mat and we'll come back to them a little bit later. So from tabletop position, just like we did on our back, take a moment to let the pelvis tilt forward and let the pelvis tilt back. And just notice how this changes the experience of the spine. We don't have the tactile feedback of the back of the floor, so see if you can use your awareness to feel what's actually happening in the spine. And then let those tips get smaller and smaller so you don't go forward as much or back as much. And as you control the tipping, you might start to notice a sense of brightness, a sense of spaciousness, some extra support of the deep core turning on. Then when you think you've found neutral, remember that's not a flat spine, it's just a nice long spine. Pause there and lower the forearms down to the floor so the elbows are underneath the shoulders. Relax the arms and then gently circle the shoulders around the elbows. As you do this, be vigilant with keeping the spine neutral. Right? It's easy to forget what's happening below the shoulders. So see if you can zoom out and feel the whole body supported. As you circle over the elbows here, just notice how the shifting of the weight changes where you feel sensation in the arms, in the shoulder socket. Let's change directions. And imagine this movement waking up all of the muscles in the hands, in the arms, in the shoulder complex, in the chest, in the space between the shoulder blades and the rib cage, in the space from the shoulders to the low back. And then come to center. Flatten the tops of the feet to the mat or a blanket, and with your neutral spine, gently start to glide the right foot back without moving anything else in the body. And then take a couple of those slides and notice the work required to maintain your core stability as the leg moves. The next time the leg reaches back, tuck the toes under. Cheat the left knee forward just a little bit, but push down into the left shin so you feel a lot of support. So the left knee is in front of the left hip. Push the knee down, awaken support in the hip socket, and then without letting the low back arch, hover the right leg and set it down. Take a few of these pulses, probably create a lot of warmth in the left leg as it has to work pretty hard to stabilize here. Perhaps you feel the right glutes and hamstrings working to lift the right leg. You don't want to feel anything in the low back besides the core turning on. And the next time the toes come down, pause there and gently press into the hands coming back to table. Shift your weight into your right hand and reach the left fingertips forward, up, and back, letting the whole left side of the body open. Take a few of these circles, nice and slow, trying to move as fluidly as possible. And imagine that this is massaging your left hip. So it's not so much about the rib cage rotating, but the rotation traveling all the way down into the left hip, the left IT band. The next time the hand comes down to the floor, start to thread the left hand behind the right hand, lowering the shoulder and the ear down. Press into the back of the left hand and then practice those fingertips from before, our flowing energy hands. So bring fingertips to touch, right hand on top of left, and gently press together and see if you can feel some space in the shoulders and more support in the back of the body. Stay right here or play with lifting the top leg. It can lift behind you. It can also gently rotate open as long as that feels okay in the left hip socket. This will be slightly destabilizing, but it helps us with our balance later. So see if you can relax into that feeling of, as we say in our level 1 training, embrace the wobbles. The next time the foot stays up, breathe, relax, notice the warmth in the glutes. Make sure you're not arching the low back. And then set the foot back down, right hand in front of the face, gently press into right hand. Bring the left hand underneath the left shoulder, tuck the toes under and press the hips up and back into a staggered down dog. I know on the blanket you don't have a lot of traction, and that's good. It means you can't just muscle into it. You have to be a little sneakier, softer. Sway the hips from side to side. And then set left knee down, bring the right knee forward, and press the hips back to the heels. I've been enjoying a wide knee Bhaktasana in this sequence, but do whatever your body's craving. If the shoulders are tired, sometimes it's nice to bring the backs of the hands besides the feet or on top of the ankles or calves. And I always forget to switch the song, so you can go to the second track and make sure it is set to repeat. We'll take one more moment and then we'll do that on the other side. And so as you're ready, float up to tabletop. Take a moment to find your neutral spine, and don't just assume it's where you think it is. Discover it. Be curious. Is neutral really neutral? Can I create more space through each vertebra? So there's no compression on the front of the vertebra, which happens if we overtuck. No compression on the back of the vertebra, which happens if we overarch. Lower the forearms. Take just 1 or 2 circles in each direction. And then find your center. Tops of feet are flat, and start to glide the left foot back without moving anything else in the body. Take a couple foot glides, and then tuck the toes under once the leg is extended. Allow the right knee to come forward a few inches, push down into the right shin, and notice how that illuminates the muscles in the back of the hip and in the hip socket. And then using that support, gently hover the left foot and set it down. And all of the lifting of the leg comes from the glute. So you don't want to feel the low back doing this work. Usually that means the glutes aren't really doing it and you're just tipping your pelvis. The pelvis stays neutral here. And it should feel hard. The next time the toes come down, gently bring the hands underneath the shoulders and reach the right hand forward, up, and back, circling open now through the right side. Make sure you're soft and delicate in the left hand, bringing extra weight into the pinky side of the left hand, little spring in the left elbow so there's no tension and no pressure. And the next time the right arm comes down, gently thread it behind the left hand, bringing arm and shoulder and right ear to the mat. Stack the left hand on top of the right, bringing the fingertips to touch. Gently squeeze each finger into its mirror to awaken the arm lines, especially in the back of the shoulders. And then start to push down into the right knee to hover the left foot, or even stack the hips open, but only if that feels spacious in the right hip socket. You don't want to feel any pressure or pinching in the hip. Take a couple of these if it feels welcoming, or just stay down and breathe. There's lots of benefits to all of the positions. The next time the foot lifts, if you're choosing that option, pause and breathe and see if you can relax through the right side, even though it's working. Try not to muscle into it. Set the foot down, left hand in front of the face, push into it. Coming into tabletop, tuck both toes under, but keep the stagger and push up and back into a staggered down dog. Option to sway the hips. Be soft and delicate. It's okay if the hips don't lift as high as you're used to. Just try to feel supported and spacious. And then start to walk. Let's walk the hands back towards the feet and eventually bring the right foot back so it's in line with the left foot. Bend the knees really, 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 really deeply so the body drapes over the thighs. If it's okay on the neck, you can let the head hang heavy, but if you feel a lot of sensation in the back of the neck, I would say that means it's too much neck flexion, in which case lengthen the head out a little bit. Shift the weight from foot to foot and notice how the hips start to sway from side to side. Imagine all of the hamstring muscles on the back of the thighs softening, all the muscles up the back of the body softening. And then anchor the big toes, shift the weight back into the heels, heavy hips reach down towards the heels, and slowly start to push the hips forward and notice how that stacks one vertebra at a time from the bottom up. Slowly start to extend the legs, coming all the way up to standing